go. Happy Thursday. Really emotional Thursday for a lot of people here. And even though we are going to be doing a fighting game uh, stream here today, I thought it'd be apropos that we bring up the sidecast screen first because I think it's going to be inevitable that this is probably the biggest topic that we're going to be talking about this week when it comes to, well, anything on stuff that I usually cover. And that is the passing of Hogan that everybody heard of this morning with apparently the report coming down right now early is that Hulk Hogan, age 71, passed away today due to heart complications that have been directly related to the steroids that he'd been taking. So whether it be for the steroids or not, it really doesn't matter at this point. I know it's a very hot button issue right now with Hogan being around. From the fact that he was essentially the most popular person in wrestling for the better part of, well, I'd almost say 30 years. From the 80s to the 2010s, you could honestly say that if you're talking to somebody who isn't following wrestling, he probably was the most recognizable face to one of the most viled and ridiculed people in professional wrestling going out to his last 10 years. Which, ironically enough, it is 10 years to the day ever since he made that racist rant that was caught on tape. It was 10 years to the day that he passed away from that comment. So I'd find that rather ironic, but be it as it may, my thoughts on it, I wanted to get on here first and just nip a few things in the bud. First of all, I've never been a Hulk Hogan fan. Yes, my first matches involved Hulk Hogan, but I was always the fan of Andre the Giant, of the Big Boss Man, of everybody, King Kong Bundy, everybody, Macho Man Sam, the guys that were trying to beat Hogan were the part that I was the real fan of. More than I was a fan of Hogan. Hogan was always that inevitable mountain that you could never get past and climb through. So I will preface it with saying that. And I feel that while, and by the way, good to see you here, Nats. I don't mean to rip up your comment a little bit here, but I am gonna take some liberties with it a little bit here. And I get a lot of people just discovered Hogan on Impact, which, once again, if you haven't heard, he had creative control of his contract, which basically ripped up a lot of scripts because he had to be a part of the show, as he said. So I understand the impact of Hogan in the wrestling world. Well, let's face it, he was the most recognizable face. He was the face of WWF for most of the 80s, if not all of them. He was also, when he moved over to NWO, he had probably one of the most influential, I don't want to say influential, impactful moments in wrestling history, where you basically turn the wrestling business on a dime here and turned it into a situation where Hogan made himself into a beyond life character. The third man, of course. And I will respect Hogan for the fact that he took every opportunity that he was given and used it to his utmost extent. But I'm not going to get in there, and Nats, this is where I take issue to something you said here earlier. If it wasn't for Hogan, there would be no Mania or 83 weeks of WCW. I honestly believe this, and I brought this up a few weeks ago on the Heels, Pops, and Chair Shots podcast that I was on. If it wasn't Hogan, Vince McMahon would have found somebody to take that spot. Whether it would have been Orndorff, whether it would have been Savage, whether it would have been some other larger-than-life character. Hell, Big John Studd. he could have used as one of the guys. There are many different people that could have been in that situation. I want to give full credit to Hogan for taking that situation and that ability that he was given and turned it into what he did. But to say that there was going to be no Mania, I do feel that regardless of who was in that top spot, Mania was going to be a thing to happen. It was something that they wanted. And they just found the right man that they wanted for the job. And I want to give Hogan all the credit in the world for being the opportunist, for taking that opportunity that was given to him and running with it. And that's all you can ever ask. And that's something we talk about in wrestling today, is the fact that a lot of people aren't getting the opportunities they want. We have a lot of wrestlers that we turn around and say, okay, we don't want to. We want to see these people on the air. We're not seeing them on the air. Why can't we see them on our TV? It's all about when you do get that opportunity, do you take advantage of it? And let's face it, folks, if there was anybody any better in doing that, I don't think there was anybody better than Hulk Hogan. You could say what you want about, his politics and the racist rants that he did after. I'm never gonna, I'll never be friends with a guy like that. That is just that heavy duty racist like that. I will be staying clear of that. But the fact that you look at him and just see that he was given an opportunity and he ran with it for one of the most historical reigns that you would ever see as a wrestler, period. That branched out between multiple companies, turned into this multifaceted industry that is Hulk Hogan. It's not just, Hulk Hogan is no longer just a wrestler. He was a TV show. He was a cartoon show. If you guys don't remember, Hulk Hogan's Rocket Wrestling. That's a whole different thing. He's a movie star for the movies that he did. Yes, some of them were absolute trash, and besides some, I put most, but a lot of people enjoyed a lot of his work there. To the fact that he was even in the Rocky movies. Like I said, it's not all shitty movies. It was a good movie. If there was anything I was going to give Hulk Hogan for credit for, it's the fact that he took an opportunity, ran with it, and created what I would say is the biggest sports persona empire that there ever is. There have been many people who have tried to follow it, and you want to speak about Rocky, we could throw another guy in the mix here with that similar name. Dwayne Johnson's trying to do that same thing right now, catapult his wrestling success into multiple facets all over. Hell, look at MJF. He's on, his fourth movie now? That's going to be coming out. Happy Gilmore's coming out this Friday. Happy Gilmore 2. Any wrestler given an opportunity, I will never fault them for trying to take that opportunity and branching it out into something bigger. Hogan knew the game. Hogan knew how to play the game. And Hogan was very successful at the game. And you do have to give the man credit for that. Regardless of how you feel he was booked, and I think he was booked absolutely, well, there's a reason why they were calling it Becky Hogan at Evolution. It just makes a ton of sense based on everything you've seen throughout the 90s and what we understand now about the booking. But full credit to Hogan for what he did. I don't know what his beliefs were. I don't know what his values were. I'm not going to study that hard to find out. But you have to give Hogan credit where credit is due. He was a man that absolutely did everything in his power to maximize what he was given. And that's all you can ask from a wrestler. That's all you can ask from any human being. Morals and personalities aside, you have to get in there and simply say, look, Hogan was given this. He turned this into this, and this. And even if what he did wasn't the most ethical thing in the world, or some of the things that he said were, absolutely disgusting, and yes, I do believe that. You have to give credit to the man for taking whatever opportunities he was presented and turning them into the absolute goldmine that they were. So with that, I give my last respects to Hulk Hogan. I don't know if I'm going to bring him up a whole lot. I know he's probably going to come up on Saturday when we talk about wrestling on the AEW Collision sidecast, but it's sort of something I felt I need to get out in front. And there's a very interesting way to think about it. And one of the biggest points I wanted to have is exactly what you brought up here, Nats, about the fact that everybody thinks that Hogan's the reason that Mania went forward. I hate to say this, it was McMahon. It was McMahon selecting Hogan. If McMahon wasn't there to select Hogan, I absolutely think that TNA does a video package for Hogan. WWE is going to do a package for Hogan. Every wrestling organization, save AEW, will probably do a full video package for Hulk Hogan. For AEW, I expect a graphic. That's it. But I will almost guarantee that graphic will read "Rest in Peace, Hulk Hogan." Because there definitely will not be "Rest in Peace, Terry Bollea." And I just feel that that's probably where we're ending up on that. Like, Tony Khan's made it blatantly clear that he does not want Hulk. He didn't want Hulk Hogan around his roster whatsoever. And I don't blame him for that. It felt a little weird even having Flair in there as much as he did with the involvement that he does have with Hulk Hogan, but I don't know what to put there for you guys on that one, because it just I do trust that Hogan's gonna be Phil for Nash. You choose your bedfellows. You choose your bedfellows. That's how I feel for Nash right now. He was buddies with Hogan, but you know what? He knew Hogan a different way than some of us. I do feel that those that are closest to Hogan are probably not going to say a whole lot about it. Because, well, any statement that's made publicly, well, you can see how much on fire the IWC is right now. Can you imagine when the Hogan family comes out, the Bollea family comes out, and says anything either way, one way or the other? It's either going to be fans screaming for blood or fans screaming for the blood of the people that are screaming for blood. It's really a no-win situation when you're dealing with a guy like Hogan. And I almost feel bad because it feels like, what's going to happen when that other person that's tan orange passes away? And I know we're not going to get into politics here a lot, but I am talking about I'm talking about another WWE Hall of Famer. Oh, Bubba, I can almost imagine what Bubba's feeling right now. Well, it's either he's feeling vindication or he's feeling absolute shit for the guy that's been trying to break it that Hogan's dying right away. But I really don't know which way you want to think he's thinking of that. I don't want to know because I really don't care. Bubba the Love Sponge he was a guy that was made by Hogan, and I don't know whether he was being genuine or disingenuous worrying about what was happening with him before. So, once again, like I said, I respect the man for his ability to take what he had and go. But yeah, I think so. We've been ranting about this for a little bit here, and